In the heart of Finneytown Local School District, something remarkable is happening. Here, education transcends the confines of traditional classrooms, embracing the spirit of exploration, collaboration, and community.
At Finneytown, learning is not just about acquiring facts and figures. It's about embracing the journey of discovery, where students are empowered to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and push the boundaries of their own knowledge.
Embracing the spirit of exploration, every project undertaken here is not just an assignment. It's an opportunity to innovate, to experiment, and to take risks.
It's about embracing the journey of discovery,
failure is not a
where
setback.
students are empowered to ask questions and challenge assumptions. Collaboration is at the heart of every endeavor. Students learn not only from their teachers, but also from each other, drawing on diverse perspectives and skill sets to tackle real-world challenges.
And as these students work side by side, they not only build academic skills, but also cultivate essential life skills, communication, teamwork, and resilience that will serve them well beyond the classroom.
At Finneytown Local School District, education is not just a solitary pursuit. It's a shared journey that strengthens bonds, nurtures curiosity, and inspires a lifelong love of learning.
This is Finneytown. This is our PBL showcase.
Project-based learning in Finneytown didn't happen overnight. No, it actually started back in 2015 when a small group of staff decided to visit Yellow Springs to learn about it. Inspired by what they witnessed that day, those staff members shared with others the potential they saw in bringing PBL to Finneytown.
Informal conversations among teachers about projects and possibilities started to gain steam, and more groups of staff ventured to Yellow Springs to gain a better understanding of PBL. A community among Finneytown staff started to take shape, and this group turned the fear of failure and trying new things into an excitement for risk and learning from mistakes.
As time carried on, staff attended formal PBL trainings, developed pilot projects, and tested tuning protocols. The district created 4 RP PBL facilitator positions, and these roles were intentionally designed to provide thought partners for staff as they tried PBL. Last year, we hosted our first PBL showcase at Finneytown Secondary Campus, and today we host our second showcase, which has expanded and is at both Finneytown Elementary and Finneytown Secondary Campus.
This journey has had its ups and downs, its successes and failures. It has required us to both learn and unlearn, and we wouldn't have it any other way, because the path we have been on from 2015 to today in and of itself has given us the very same experiences we hope PBL creates for our students: authentic teamwork, quality relationships, and internal confidence in the face of external doubt.
Mary McLeod Bethune said, "We have a powerful potential in our youth, and we must have the courage to change old ideas and practices so that we may direct their power toward good ends."
Today's showcase is about our students' power more than their projects. We see their potential and are leaning into the courage to challenge those old ideas and practices.
There, yeah, we are kind of close to a crow.
Okay, so you go down there. You keep going down there.
I gotta do interviews afterwards. I have to interview students.
Yes.
Which I don't mind interviewing students.
Well, it's raining outside at Finneytown, but inside the walls of Finneytown Secondary Campus's main gym, it is dry, it is pleasant, the energy is getting really, really positive as the circles are arranged and our students, staff, and guests are filing in for the 2024 PBL Showcase. Welcome and good morning. I'm Eric Muchmore, and I'm joined by Jen Dinan to host this event here this morning. And it's really exciting. Jen, how are you feeling today?
I am excited. There's also a little bit of nervous energy, but most of all, I'm feeling grateful. It was hours and hours of prep work by a lot of people to pull today off. But you know, Eric, I was thinking, I remember you once said, how can we create experiences where the community and our families can peek into what our students do on a day-to-day basis? And I think today is one of those opportunities where they will get to see what our students do each day at school. So I'm excited about that.
I'm excited too. And this year's showcase is a little bit different from last year's. Last year we did our first showcase here only at the secondary campus. This year we do have a showcase at Finneytown Elementary as well. But the structure has changed a little bit, and the duration of the event has changed as well. So Jen, what's different from this year compared to last year?
Some of the big differences, this year we're going to zoom in and watch an entire class's presentation from start to finish versus seeing all of them like we did last year. The other thing you'll notice, circles. Last year it was more a presentation style, and this year the team's really working to make it more of a conversation between the students and the people who are here visiting and watching and hearing about their presentation.
And that is what Jen mentioned, the circles, a key change this year, moving from the stage format where it doesn't feel so much like a conversation to more of that restorative arrangement of the seats, one where community feels part of the presentation with that circle. And so you mentioned that we're going to peek into a presentation in its entirety. That's just one of the presentations, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But there are many others happening inside this space that our audience who are watching will not be able to see. Can you tell us a little bit about those presentations?
Absolutely. We have 13 presentations happening both here in the gym and in the media center. And then we have even more at the elementary school going on. We have every grade represented. 8th grade through 12th graders are presenting. We have math presentations, science, social studies, English language arts. So we really get to see that project-based learning can happen in any classroom.
That is true. And the guests are filing in right now. We're getting settled. So as we get ready to start, when you feel the energy in the room, when you look around, what's striking you at this moment?
Right, so Eric, you and I spent a lot of years at the secondary campus, and usually 8 in the morning is a pretty quiet, subdued time with a bunch of high schoolers and middle schoolers, but right now you hear a lot of noise, you see a lot of movement, and there is just a lot of smiles and positivity and more energy than you typically see.
It is filling up, and over here to our right, which you'll have a chance to be part of the presentation as we transition, but Dave Backer's class is getting settled, and they have a cool project to share with you all this morning. And as they get settled and Mr. Backer gets his class ready, we're going to go ahead and show you an interview that we did with Dave leading up to this event, where he shares his thoughts on PBL and how this project came to be. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what Dave had to say just a few days ago.
Hi, my name is David Backer. I'm a high school math teacher here at Finneytown Secondary Campus, and I've been at Finneytown, I believe this is year 9 this year, actually. So about my PBL project, this all started was I was here like on a weekend. It was like a Saturday, and I don't know why I was here, but I was driving down Winton Road, and as I drove down, I saw an abnormal amount of students on our playground, and they ranged from like, it would look like young kids, like first graders all the way, and I did see some older kids. They were playing basketball, and there was a ton of kids. So I was like, what the heck is that? So I pulled in here to see like what was going on, just because I'd never seen that many kids in one place, especially at the elementary school. It was genuine, authentic conversation and having fun. It reminded me of like me growing up, actually, because obviously we didn't have phones, we weren't allowed in the house, so we were always outside playing. So it just reminded me of that. And I'm thinking, you know what? I was trying to tie that into some PBL project that I could do this year, and it turned into us trying to create a youth center for the secondary campus, and then that actually led into a youth center for everybody from grades like K all the way up to high school. And it was kind of interesting to see what these kids were going to make and like what are some things that were important to them in this youth center. So we wanted to create and design and develop a youth center using conic sections that we did in pre-calculus. And this is now my third PBL project you can say I've done. And the first, I've enjoyed all three, but this one has really made my life easy. Like I'm quiet. I'm just the bank. I'm just the fire putter outer, or let me go get this for you. It's these kids have taken ownership and they're learning, and it's been fantastic to see that this year, actually, and it's come a long way for me. Working with Mike and Tammy have been fantastic. The scaffolds I have in place have made me a better teacher, not just for PBL, but for even the classes I don't do PBLs in. It's been great for me, actually, and it's something I plan to continue here at Finneytown.
It's obvious why our students love Dave, though, isn't it?
Absolutely.
His energy, his passion is just second to none, and it's really come through in the way that he's put together this project. But from that interview, what struck you most?
I think Dave's honesty about the challenge of giving up control. Dave's been working with our facilitators for 3 years, and so he's grown a lot, but it's fun to see. And now he jokes that he wasn't really even doing anything the past few weeks because the kids did it all, and that's because he put a ton of work in on the front end, which he shared in that interview as well.
Absolutely, and what I love about Dave and all of our staff is the willingness to take risks.
Yeah.
And PBL is new. It's something we're all learning more and more about, but that willingness to dive in and explore, along with our facilitators, along with their colleagues, with our students even, and our community members who come in to participate, experts that we bring in for the students to interact with as they're designing a project, is really something exciting. We're just minutes away from diving into that presentation, and while that presentation is happening, we've tried to provide the opportunity for you to feel like you're in the circle, so we have the camera set up as if you'll be in a seat. And we hope that allows you to fully experience what the students have to share and the audience members do as well. But as we get ready to watch, what are you going to be watching for?
I am really interested in the student reflection piece and hearing about their experience. Dave shared in the interview how he originally had thought it'd be several different small groups creating different community centers, and it was our students who said, no, let's do it all together. And you shared a great story about after the interview was over, something that Dave heard a student say that I think it'd be powerful for our audience to hear that too.
Yeah, so I think about a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, Dave and his students were having a conversation in class about how to finish the year off. And Dave had shared with the class, we can move forward with the traditional calculus content and, deliver the instruction and go about things in the way that we traditionally do in a math class, or we can do this project-based learning experience where we use conic structures to build this youth center. And Ella Deitch, I believe, said, Mr. Backer, we can go the traditional route and learn the calculus, but we'll probably forget that over the summer. We do this project, we'll remember that for the rest of our lives. And I feel like that moment he had with his class where that was shared truly captures the essence of why project-based learning matters.
Absolutely. And you'll get to see Ella in just a minute in that circle, and that's what I'm looking for. The students talking in a way where you can tell it's authentic learning. It's not something they've memorized and they're just spitting back, but something they've truly come to understand.
Completely agree. Well, we're going to go ahead and take you inside of that presentation now. You'll get a chance to see a visual of the product that they built together as a class. And we're going to go ahead and send you inside of Mr. Backer's class presentation. We hope you enjoy. We'll be back with you after.
Well, thank you everybody for showing up today. My name is David Backer, and I am one of the high school math teachers here at the secondary campus. I brought 4 of my pre-cal kids with me who has worked actually decently hard on this PBL project we've done dealing with conic sections. But before we get into that, I would love just to go around and introduce ourselves and tell us why it was important to be here.
Sorry. My name is Seth. Actually, I'm one of your board members. It's important for me to be here to see how the hard work that you and your colleagues do. Thank you for all the hard work you do.
Thank you.
My name is Dylan Heath. I'm a junior here. It's important for me to be here to show what our pre-calc class was able to put together for you guys.
I'm Ella Deitch. I'm also a junior, and it's important to be here because we worked pretty hard on this project, and it's just fun to show it off.
My name is Melika, and I felt like it was important to be here because I just wanted to be a part of something.
My name is Carson Hoffman, and I felt this is pretty important. And just in general, the youth center is very important, so I feel like that's why I'm excited.
I'm Laurie Banks, and it was important for me to be here to see the work that's going on every day and what that looks like beyond the traditional test taking or quiz. So I'm excited.
I'm Kyle Chambers, assistant principal at Fairfield West Elementary School, former teacher here, and it was important for me to be here, one, to see all the hard work that the kids are doing, but to also see how we can make connections at a different district, partner together, and bring PBL to Fairfield.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, everybody. Now what we'll do is I'm going to let you guys kind of just go through the processes of what we did, what you learned, how you grew, and then there will be time for you guys to ask questions if there's anything they didn't touch on that you have questions for. Okay? Don't forget, we talk about some of the difficulties we've had.
Yeah.
I'm really bad. I love talking. Okay, so I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to let you guys run this whole show. Okay?
Okay, so basically we made here a youth center, so you can stand up and look around. And on the slideshow, we had these images of stuff we were supposed to 3D print, but 3D printers, we had 6 of them, but they didn't all work, so that kind of became an issue with the project, but we still learned from it, and we kept building stuff like just through like paper and just like literally just trying to find materials that we could build stuff with. So yeah, so this youth center has like a garden, like a gym, a pool, just a bunch of many things. And here are all the designs that we made online.
Were those going to be printed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like all of those were supposed to be on there, but you know,
why did we want to do a youth center? Like, why did we choose this?
We chose it because, and it'll come up here in a bit, but as high schoolers ourselves, I feel like we carried a big point of view in it as well, but, and for me personally, there's just, it kind of goes unnoticed, some of the mental health or behavioral issues in youth students and high school students. So we wanted to kind of dedicate a building that's focused around them, a time where they can just escape, get away from whatever they're struggling with, and just get here, play some basketball, go to the library, read, or something that's all about them and bettering their lives.
Walk me through how we came up with this design. Like, how did that work with you guys?
Yeah, so what we did, it was our second step in the process is, actually have it right here. We built 3 different blueprint plans. So you start with a little bubble plan where you just bubble where different rooms will be, and then you go to the box method, and then you finish it off with the final blueprint with doors and everything. So we had 6 of these different plans. We had 3 groups of 6, or 6 groups of 3. And we narrowed it down to this one.
How do we do that? How do we pick that one?
We just voted on it, and Amanda, Brian, and Malachi had the best one. So we went from there. We tweaked it a little bit to perfect it, but yeah, the end result was this one.
How did the conic sections tie in? How did we get math involved with this thing? I know it was not crazy difficult, especially with pre-calculus. There's a ton we could have tied in, but why did we choose like conic sections and to do this again?
I think we chose this because, well, the whole part in pre-calc that we were learning is kind of about like parabolas, circles, like kind of in that sense. And yeah, you can do the math for it, but I think it's important to kind of see it in real life because like literally everything around you, like you see like a lampshade and there's a parabola, like something like that. So kind of that was like the main point. Like you can see throughout these, there's so many like circles and like, I don't know. So I think that was like really important that we could kind of like see, envision all the math that we're learning and see kind of how it affects us in like the real world.
What were some struggles or challenges I mean, we've done this for almost a month, maybe a little shy of a month. What were some struggles you guys came across working in your groups?
Some struggles I saw, not just the 3D printing, but at first nobody knew how to like make the shapes. So we had to get one of the students to help learn how to make these shapes, how to 3D print early, so they could teach all the other classmates how to do so as well. Another problem was, actually there wasn't really much problems. After we got like the first stages of just learning how to make the shapes, everything kind of like was self-explanatory at that point. So everything worked out smoothly in the end.
When you say make the shapes, what do you mean make the shapes? Couldn't we just draw them on paper? What do you mean when you said make?
Heck no. So we would first have to draw it on this graph. We have to do an XYZ plane, and then we have to draw it. We have to extrude it. We have to make it bigger. We gotta first do a 2D sketch, and then we make it into a 3D, and then we have to do our little designs on it. It's a lot more complicated than just blueprints, and that's what I kind of loved about this project. You got to really learn how to design and really make real world products in the real world.
How do you guys feel about working as a big group at the end? Because that was definitely out of my comfort zone. Like when I was envisioning this and I put you guys in groups of 3, I really had every group was going to make their own youth center, and then we were going to vote on the best one, and then that one was going to present at this PBL thing today. So after I realized that, hey, let's put this all together and have each student design a room, and then it turned into, instead of a group of 3, we turned to a group of almost 18. So walk me through how that was with working with a large group together to come up with a final product that you feel a sense of pride with, and how everybody pitched in on that. What'd that look like?
I feel like working with a big group can also, like, not only is it help with getting stuff done faster, but it was a lot more stressful making sure everything was going how it was supposed to. It's hard to keep track of exactly what's going on, but at the same time it helped everyone here, because one of our issues was time. We were running more out of time on this. So having everybody participate and get stuff done really helped make this finished product we have today.
Yeah, that's perfect. I was very proud of that too. Like, I did very, very little in this. This is my 3rd project, and not that I did the first 2, but you know guys, I have OCD, like things have to be perfect. And you have definitely stepped up and went out above and beyond my expectation. Like in my head, I knew what I wanted this to look like. I knew the scaffolds I had to have in place for this to come together today. And it was, I mean, you guys made it so, really easy for me. So I definitely appreciate that out of you guys. Yeah, that was great. The only thing that I wonder, I wish those printers worked, because I would love to see all this 3D printed. So that was my only I wonder here, but you should be proud, because I definitely am with you guys. Okay? Any questions? Or anything we didn't talk about that you're curious about?
Yeah, so you kind of brought up how it went from individual groups to huge groups, and then everyone designed a room, and you talked about how it was cool to work as a whole class. Was there ever a time when one group, or smaller group, was waiting on another group? Like, hey, we can't do our part until you guys finish your part, and I'm gonna so hurry up, or like kind of did that conflict ever arise, and how did that play out?
I feel like it didn't really happen. I definitely think there was a lot of miscommunication, and there was a lot of frustration, I won't lie. Just because, like, when there's that big of a group, there's going to be different opinions, and, like, again, if someone has OCD, like, or, like, want to, like, control it, like, you're like, no, why are you cutting it that way? Like, no. So I feel like that was an issue, or it was, like, a minor issue that we definitely came across. But I don't know if there was actually, like, waiting for people other than, like, can you glue this down for me? Or it's like, did you cut this? Or like, someone would cut something, like if Dylan were to cut a wall, and then I thought I could use that to make something else. That was like our struggle. But once we started labeling things, then we were fine.
See, I have a different answer for that because like yesterday, like I still hear you yelling, Carson, where are the toilets? I need the toilets. Like I can't print without those. So like I hear that still. So.
I'm curious, what's the biggest takeaway what's the biggest takeaway or memory that you're going to have going into your next stages of high school or after this? What's your favorite memory doing this?
Just how like everybody came and worked together, and it was like, I think what made everybody want to really work on it is because everybody got their own rooms, so they got like to choose their creativity and really like express themselves and how they wanted to lay out the rooms.
What did you guys learn about yourselves during this project?
I've always been interested in architecture, like as a future career. So doing this and working with people this time was kind of like, just like, wow, like this is genuinely something I could do when I'm older. It's pretty sweet.
For me, I definitely learned about being patient. Sometimes I can struggle with like wanting to just like control or like just be like, oh, I want to be the leader of this. So I definitely learned to just like take a step back and just let other people like share their opinions and stuff.
Yeah, I really learned how to like work with people. Cause me, most of the time when I do my work, I like to be alone. So
I actually have the same kind of learning experience as Malachi. I'll zone out on my work and just kind of focus on that and won't really rely on others to help me. For me personally, like, oh, I got to do all this, I can get all this done. Instead of asking like Malachi, like, hey, can you help me make this or something, or could you do this while I do this? For me, it helped me learn to just rely on others for this project.
And for me, I'm going to college for business administration. I don't know what exactly I'm going to do in my future, but learning how to do or make products like these really expands my horizon and will hopefully give me new ideas when I'm thinking about running my own business one day.
I definitely enjoyed it. It was very eye-opening for me as a teacher. Like the very first milestone we did when we were talking about, hey, what was important to you? Like, why do you, like if you told me to, hey, make a youth center and what do you want in your youth center? Obviously mine's gonna look entirely different than yours. So when we had no money, funds weren't an option. Like we didn't have to worry about money. It was like, what's important to you in your lives right now? What's important to you and for this community, and let's put that together and figure out what this youth center looks like. Because when I was thinking about the youth center, I know I didn't have a game room in there. There was no basketball court I had or a weight room, and I don't even think I had a library in there. Okay, so it was just cool to see the things that all 18 of you guys valued and what you guys want in this community, and that opened my eyes a little bit. It's like, oh, okay. It was very neat to see, so I definitely enjoyed that. Anything else? Okay.
What would be the next step? So we have a plan, you have this 3D model. What would you guys see as being like the next steps? If this was a real business and you did all this as an architect, future, you have this, what would kind of be your guys' next steps? Or what do you think the next steps would be to take this design to like actually make it happen? Because I also saw on your the presentation you had the cost breakdown too, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, what would your guys' next steps be?
Where do we talk about putting this? Do you guys remember?
It was the old Kroger's building where the current tech building is. So I guess take it to the township, take it to the state.
Yeah.
So
here's what we got.
Yeah.
Here's how much it'll cost.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
So that concludes Dave Backer's class's presentation there in that circle. That was fun to watch.
It was.
What stood out to you during that presentation, Jen?
A lot stood out to me. I never cease to be amazed and impressed with our kids. In the check-in, I heard several of the kids say it was important to them because they wanted to be a part of something. Another student shared it helped her see how pre-calculus is all around us. I took pre-calculus a long, long time ago, and I never had that sense it's all around us. And then when Ella's sharing, it's in lampshades. It's even if you look in this space, it just tells me that they're seeing why they're learning what they're learning. What about you?
For me, well, first, the actual product that they created was impressive.
Yes.
I mean, to see that they had put that together, I know they had issues with the 3D printer, but what they actually physically produced was incredibly impressive, and that had to be fun to build and something that they'll remember for a lifetime. I hope they take many pictures and look back on them fondly.
Yeah.
Another thing that stood out to me was the honest reflection about the challenges that they had, what they learned about themselves. Even Dave Backer talking about, you know, his perspective as a teacher and what he had envisioned versus what it turned out to be, and the letting go of control, which he had mentioned in his interview. That stood out to me as well. What about the guests? We had a few different people attending and asking questions. What stood out to you about their participation?
Well, we always appreciate when our board members show up, and we had Seth here, which was great. Kyle, who used to teach for us, is now in Fairfield and is here, A, because he still loves Finneytown and our kids, but also because he wants to take PBL to Fairfield. And so I love the idea that what's happening in our community can start to impact schools somewhere else.
I agree. Kyle, you know, he ventured into PBL with the grassroots group that started exploring that years back, and it's exciting to see him here.
Yeah.
For sure. Another thing that stood out to me during the conversation that took place was the way it felt compared to last year. Here it seemed a lot more intimate with this structure and the circle and arranging it more like a conversation. It felt more interactive, and I think our kids benefit from that dialogue with the guests and each other and their teacher. So that was something that jumped out to me. And then what I really liked hearing was, I think it was Marcus who shared that there was a moment where they had to teach each other, where they had to learn from one another, student to student. And that is another thing that I think PBL provides. It provides that community learning being a social act, not one that is best done in isolation. So the opportunity for them to tackle problems together and rely on each other's strength and knowledge, because it's all different for each person, was really cool to hear, and how that impacted them in their project.
I appreciated Laurie's question at the end, because it was asking what they learn about themselves, and Ella's honesty, patience. Several of the students mentioned, I usually like to just do things on my own. Asking for help is hard. Like that takes a lot of metacognition and critical thinking to look at yourself as a learner. So the fact that our kids are doing that is exciting.
Absolutely, and I think also it sets them up for the future. Most professions, jobs require interdependence with a team. And PBL affords our students the opportunity to understand what that feels like, the challenges that it presents when you have to work with people with different personalities, when there's a difference of opinion that arises. How do you handle that in a productive, healthy way that pushes things forward rather than sets a group back? And I think that we heard some of those lessons come through from the reflection our students gave us today during that presentation.
Absolutely.
And so that's the entirety of Dave Backer's presentation. We mentioned earlier, I think, that this showcase and the showcase that we'll jump to a little bit later is greatly due to the work of our facilitator team. Lauren Henline, Tammy Dietz, and Mike Kennedy have put so much effort and time into this event and making it possible. And we had a chance to sit down with them a few days ago to reflect not only on today's event, but also their experience with being RP, restorative practices, and PBL, project-based learning facilitators in our district. Their position is unique, and we asked them to reflect on that experience a few days ago. So we'll go ahead and show that interview to you right now, and we'll be back in a minute.
What you do is RP and PBL facilitators for our district. A lot of districts don't have anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's new, and as with all things new, there are doubters and naysayers. We're all aware there are people who don't believe in your roles, who say, you know, we have other issues we need to be addressing, like student behavior and literacy and math. How do you respond to that?
It's hard because, as you said, we also hear comments made about us, and we try not to take it personal. Some days it's easier to not take it as personal than others, but that's just real, that we're humans too. And we hope that people start to see that we're working just as hard as they are, you know, and we're there to support their work as well. But regarding the tougher issues and things that need to be addressed other than RP and PBL, I think our philosophy and our thinking is what we can control is what's in our classroom. And if we can get every person to be doing the best they can in their own individual classroom, then that's going to change the whole system. If we can just focus on what we can do and not what somebody else could do for us or to someone else. So it's really empowering everybody and letting them realize that I do have control over this. I can at least do my part.
I get where teachers are coming from. Like, we hear that, but we don't take offense because we know that, like, teaching is really hard. It's difficult. You're dealing with complex human beings, the adults and the students. And let's just face it, like, we know that education is broke right now.
Yeah.
So, like, we don't take offense to it. But, you know, I got to tell you, we hear that, but we also see people grabbing us out of the hall saying, can you work with us? We've got this idea, we got this project, we want your help. And we see teachers connecting with each other. We have the staff learning, has been a great experience this year. So, like, we get it, but we also know that a lot of it's just out of frustration because our teachers want to impact student learning. So, like, we know that that's at the core of their complaints, and we share that as a DLT, as a district, and I know with the gifts that we have and our teachers and our students, we're going to figure this out. Like, we can do this. Everyone in our staff is capable. All of our students are capable. It's just we can't time warp and make it go faster. And sometimes it just takes time.
I think the thing about restorative practices and project-based learning that really touches all of us at our heart and what we believe in is they're frameworks for equity, inclusion, and community building. And at its heart, that's what education is, right? We're trying to meet all of our needs every day in the best way that we can to make everyone feel like they matter, that they're seen, that we value them, and that they have a space here and a place here. And so those strategies to help behavior and math and reading are great, and they're a part of this framework. But this framework also applies to every grade, to every level, to every department. And that's what really energizes us through this process.
What makes you proud of our students and staff?
Makes me proud to think the courage of the students that are showing courage today in the showcase, the courage of the teachers who embrace this and try to let go of some of that control that project-based learning takes and trying something new. And I'm proud to be part of a community and a district that is looking out for the best of the students to be equitable and make it a great place for everybody to come and learn.
I'm incredibly proud of the curiosity and the trust and the vulnerability that our staff bring to our students and that they model for them. And then that magnifies. Our students then try to form questions on how their learning relates to the world around them. And to see that through these projects and this experience, there's nothing better.
Well, we appreciate everything the three of you have done this year, and will continue to do. And we're seeing it today during the showcase. Kids, staff, community members, alumni, all coming together in this
very unique, very cool learning experience where those gifts you talked about before and the courage you mentioned, equity, it's all on display. And it's really neat, and we can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Welcome back, everyone. And Jen, our facilitators are great. They do such a good job, and it's a tough job. But for people watching, what is unique about our facilitator positions, their approach with our staff, and what might people not understand about the way they go about their business?
I think one of the things that is unique, all three of them were classroom teachers here in the district. It's an internally filled position, and personally I would say all three were fantastic teachers, some of the best we have. And so they do understand what that is like, what life is like in the classroom day to day. Their role, people partnering with them, is completely voluntary. It's never mandated. They do a lot of things besides the partnerships, including our new staff orientation, which I think really helps people we hire on feel connected and as if they have a support from the beginning. They help lead our staff learning throughout the years. So they are just constantly working with our adults because we recognize it's our adult learning that's going to impact our kids.
I think one of the best things that our facilitators do is the planning prior to entering into those partnerships. They don't just show up at a classroom for a meeting unprepared and say, okay, let's just talk. They really do think through the partnership and where it's been, where it's going, and develop questions that get a good conversation going that the teacher or staff member that they're working with is driving. Yeah. So it's not like they enter trying to push their thinking or agenda. It's really the facilitator word matters to them. Yeah. And the way that they go about their business really allows the staff member to explore his or her passions, their strengths, where they want to develop. And I think that is what makes it so successful, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, we have a few students getting ready with our superintendent, Laurie Banks, to reflect on the experience of presenting. We're going to go ahead and send it to her with Dylan Heath and Ella Deitch for a reflective interview on their presentation. Laurie?
All right. Welcome, Dylan and Ella. Thank you for joining me. I would like just if you guys could share a little bit about what struck you about this experience.
Yeah, so I think what struck me the most about this project and like what we did, we basically made a youth center, and I think seeing how math incorporates like all throughout the world and like just throughout the youth center was like really important to see, because sometimes you don't always see just like how it goes and how it meshes. So I think that was really important just to see like math everywhere.
Yeah, something that struck me is, well, first the purpose of the youth center is for kids who have problems at home, behavioral problems, mental health issues. And our first step of the project was researching that and creating a presentation for that. So researching statistics and cases about that kind of made me realize the real meaning for a youth center that we definitely need in Finneytown.
And how would you say this compares to more traditional learning that you do sometimes in the classroom, maybe lecture or things like that?
Oh yeah, it was far from all of that. I mean, we went from cranking out math notes every day and tests every other week to being downstairs in the basement with Mr. Pressler in the engineering room every day for a month straight. So it was definitely out of the ordinary, but for the better.
Yeah, it was definitely fun because it was a lot less stressful, I won't lie. Sometimes when there's tests like every single week and they're like, oh, well, you're about to get tested on that. I'm an awful test taker, so it's rough for me. So knowing that, like, you're just able to kind of just like learn math without like learning it through like other things other than just tests all the time was like really important to me. I struggle with that, so I feel like that was really fun.
Thanks, Ella. Was there anything that surprised you during the project or today in the presentation?
I think how like So we had like 18 people in our class working on this, and it was just cool to see how we could all like mesh in and like all like put in our part. I think that was kind of cool because a lot of the times it's just like some people slack off, but I think everyone was participating, which was really fun to like just have everyone doing it rather than like there's a group on the side just on their phones. Like everyone was really engaged, and it was just fun to work with everyone.
Not many surprises for me. I mean, maybe the only one is some supplies we ordered for furnitures. Someone didn't check the scale on a package of chairs, so we had a chair that took up half a basketball court.
Oh, wow. Well, I just want to thank you both for sharing the work you did along with your classmates and this great experience.
Thank you.
And I wish you both well for the remainder of the school year.
Thank you, Dr. Banks.
You know what was cool to hear was our students reflect immediately after presenting, and to be riding that positive energy in that interview was pretty cool. A powerful thing that I heard was, heard powerful things from both, but what stood out to me was Ella and her remarks about how this experience led to a learning experience that was fun, less stressful, and she was able to see how the math came to life in a physical product, how it was authentically used for a purpose. And so just to hear that those things came about makes me happy. Yep. That our students are getting those experiences in our classrooms, and that our teachers are providing those experiences as well. They certainly require more planning and giving up that control, but the impact of that approach is certainly paying off for our kids.
Absolutely.
Jen, we're wrapping up the showcase here at Finneytown Secondary Campus. In a few moments, we're going to have to make a mad dash with a lot of equipment over to Finneytown Elementary. Yes. And hopefully the rain breaks for a second. But before we start that mad dash, what are your final thoughts on the showcase that we just witnessed here at Finneytown Secondary Campus?
I feel a lot of pride in our students and our staff for taking that leap. Like you said earlier, it's scary to try new things. There are weeks, and for some of these groups, months of preparation have gone into today. There was a lot of vulnerability. We had kids sharing poems about their identity. We had kids talking about when they failed and had to try something again. And so it just feels like it was a kind of a bonding, connecting experience, which I'm grateful for. And we do have a lot of people we want to go through and thank very quickly before we sign off. And don't forget to join us so you can see Effie and what our kindergarten through sixth graders are doing in their showcase. You want to start?
Sure. Long list here. We'd like to thank Dr. Laurie Banks, our superintendent, Meredith Baker, principal at Finneytown Elementary, Jesse Martin, Amy Klosterman, Officer Bill Summey, Craig Dukes, Kayla Fields, Al Bolton, Brad Delaney, Jesse Stegman, Grant Anderson, Lisa Samuel, Chad Jurgen, Charlie Crawley and the House Deans, Mike Grody, Dave Wolfers, Chris Callahan, Laura Walker, Sam Frank, Jeanette Jenkinson,
Carol Miller, Gerald Warmack, Randy Hager and his whole team, our guest experts, Vanis Horton, Joe Vlachos, Daniel Geisel, David Becker, all our participating teachers, all our participating students, and all our parents and guardians.
It takes a lot of people to make this happen, and those people showed up, showed out, and we'll do it again here in a few moments over at Finneytown Elementary for their PBL showcase happening inside the gym there. Ready to make the mad dash?
I am, while you hear some closing thoughts from Laurie.
Good morning, Finneytown Local School District community. As we come to the close of today's PBL showcase, I'm filled with immense pride and gratitude. Witnessing the dedication, creativity, and passion of our students and educators showcased through project-based learning is truly inspiring. Today, we've seen the results of countless hours of collaboration, critical thinking, and problem solving. Our students have not only demonstrated their academic prowess, but also their ability to apply their knowledge to real-world challenges, making a tangible impact on our community. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to our students for their hard work and commitment to excellence, to our educators for their unwavering support and guidance, and to our families and community members for their ongoing encouragement and partnership. As we continue to champion innovative approaches to education, let us carry the spirit of the showcase forward, embracing curiosity, resilience, and a shared commitment to lifelong learning. Thank you for joining us and for your continued support of the Finneytown Local School District. Together, we are shaping a brighter future for all.